This way they happen for inside Nigeria right now. Nigeria may go into another civil war. And this time around, guess who Nigeria will go to war with? I want you to listen for waiting this our brother talk. But in the other hand, because this guy, whether they call Ikenga Uruagu, I want beg anybody where they South Africa, where they give that guy waiting they take, that person should reduce hand with immediate effect. Because with this video I watch, waiting this guy talk here, it clearly shows that nothing there for that head at all. However, we will play the video me when I watch as he tell the castigate himself, say now Igbo people and the IPOB the castigate. However, make we also hear the latest update of Nnamdi Kanu, the latest update, the current update where they on board now, where you supposed to know concerning him matter. What the full videos before we come back and continue. Don't skip this video. Make us say no here waiting at all for here. Everything they here as they watch, make sure say share and drop your own opinion in the comment section. So other people could get our updates back to back as they happen.
We don't need Biafra agitators to come and protect any place in any. We don't need not just Biafra agitators. We don't need unauthorized security men and women to enter anywhere to protect anywhere, because these Biafra agitators, they are worse than Boko Haram. It's better to live with Fulani headsmen. I mean the bandits among them. Not every Fulani headsman is a bandit. No, I'm talking of the bandits, the terrorists among them. It's better to live with them than to live with Biafra agitators.
And I don't hear them finish. If you see the headline now, where I will tell you, say, this guy now, the family is supposed to be preparing for his burial. Literally, this guy is no more. Because this is just a walking corpse. Permit me to use that word, please. I am sorry if you may feel offended. But this is the reality on ground. An Igbo guy from Nnewi, Anambra State, precisely, said it is better to live with a Fulani terrorist than to live with a Biafra agitator. I'm a Biafra agitator. You that is watching me is a Biafra agitator. All our Igbo brothers that scattered all over the world are Biafra agitators. This is among those who tell you that IPOB should be prescribed as a terrorist organization. Please help me to type at the comment section of this video, rest in peace, Ikenga Uruagu. Because this one is gone. Please don't even come to my comment section and tell me it is not good to use that word. This one, it is gone. How can we have a brainless human being like this? Just don't know Otoprudela Dinkpabini, for that matter. Don't worry, let your mind not be shocked. I will allow you to watch that clip from beginning to the end. You will also hear the whole information about Nnamdi Kanu's appeal and what is on ground. A lot of messages are being compiled together, but I said, don't worry. I will download the message for you to watch completely. Just from now till 2 minutes, I will hang off. Then you watch the rest of the video from beginning to the end. That is the only thing I can promise you. You can imagine Ikenga Uruagu telling you that it is better to live with a Fulani terrorist who are unaliving people, like where they slaughter cow, than to live with a Biafra agitator. Me, even to buy chicken is a problem for me. Just I went to market now, buy a live chicken now for me to just unalive it for the family to use to make food. It's a very big problem for me. Then somebody is out there telling you that to live with me is better than for that person to live with a Fulani terrorist. And you tell me that this guy is still alive. This one is gone so soon. I said Ikenga Uruagu should be addressed as gone so soon, because for this one, he is gone and gone forever. Let me just read a few comments and then I will allow you to watch the clip from beginning to the end. I don't want to take much of your time. Talent Ugumba said, are you sure this guy is an Igbo guy? Emmanuel Amara said, Ikenga Atoro Awusa, come back home, we are waiting. Harold Abazechuk said, I can't believe that this young man changed like this. What is he even saying? Gibson Ozwa, Ikenga benefits Nketa, remove your hands from water fruit. The last, Emmanuel Ojuku, Fulani man is talking garbage. Okay, now he has been classified as a Fulani man. This one is gone so soon. He have already paid the ultimate price for the foolish people in Biafra land. Ikenga will be the first to pay the ultimate price for the foolish Biafrans, for the foolish Igbos. Now he is gone. Remain Bianca Ono, Udele, Lolo Neka, and the rest of other people who are fighting this struggle. I promise you, you will regret it. In fact, your generation upon generation will be an outcast in the land of Biafra. Go and mark this word. All of you that are fighting against this Biafra, the whole of your generations upon generations, up to 10 times or 15 times, will be an outcast in the land of Biafra. And this word will never fail to manifest. Please acknowledge it and pass it on to your brothers and sisters, that anyone that's fighting against Biafra will remain an outcast in the land of Biafra. That is the way it is. My own personal opinion, no, not generally, please. This is my own assertions and my own personal opinion. So it does not define you or any other person out there. Have a nice day, please. Enjoy the rest of the news, and thanks for watching. Please, I'm begging you, turn on the notification icon on YouTube. How can I have over 28,000 subscribers and just partially 1,800 turn on the notifications to know when I publish? That is very, very bad. It is too poor. Please, change your way of life. I rest my case on God.
With this, where they happen for inside Nigeria right now, Nigeria may go into another civil war. And this time around, guess who Nigeria will go to war with? I want you to listen for waiting this our brother talk. But in the other hand, come see this guy, whether they call Ikenga Uruagu. I beg go, I want beg anybody where they South Africa, where they give that guy waiting they take, that person should reduce hand with immediate effect. Because with this video I watch, waiting this guy talk here, it clearly shows that nothing there for that head at all. However, we will play the video me when I watch as he take the castigate himself, saying Igbo people and the IPOB the castigate. However, make we also hear the latest update of Nnamdi Kanu, the latest update, the current update with they on board now, where you supposed to know concerning him matter. Watch the full videos before we come back and continue. Don't skip this video. May tell say no here waiting at all for here. Everything they here as they watch. Make sure say you share and drop your own opinion in the comment section so that other people could get our updates back to back as they happen.
We don't need Biafra agitators to come and protect any place in any. We don't need not just Biafra agitators. We don't need unauthorized security men and women to enter Enugu to protect anywhere, because these Biafra agitators, they are worse than Boko Haram. It's better to live with Fulani headsmen. I mean, the bandits among them. Not every Fulani headsman is a bandit. No, I'm talking of the bandits, the terrorists among them. It's better to live with them than to live with Biafra agitators. It will be easier to defeat Fulani headsmen terrorists than Biafra agitators. Biafra agitators are worse than demons. So, what I would suggest, let people arise. Identify yourself with the government, your state government. Protect your hometown. Don't let them in. But if you invite Biafra agitators, what happened to people of Osun will repeat itself. Any place, Onomel, these people invite. How about the first? You will take their angels, but with time, you will see their real colors. You will see their rainbow colors. These people are demon. So my brother, don't blame us. If anybody is in doubt, or whether it's Fulani or not, don't blame the person. Because what we experienced from these people's hand, oh my brother, if you know it, you will not say, oh, they want to put everything in these people. Now, demo, do you know that as I'm talking to you, you can't even afford to buy dog somewhere in Imo State because they have finished all people's dog. And the peripheral Japan, they'll buy the dog and chop. No right plantain anymore, not even Okoko. Because of this agitators. Do you know these electric wires? You will not see transformers. They have rooted everything. So my brother, anytime they see us crying and complaining, don't blame us. They are worse than devil. My name is Ikenga, and I salute you.
Today is the 31st day of the May 2026. I've been in Sokoto here since yesterday. This is the Kofa Karamaya roundabout. And if you come close, the prison where Martin Nandekano is detained, remanded. There is serving his prison term. I just want to give you updates. Anything that you see in the social media, Martin Nandekano appeal, all those things are fake news. We have finished preparing his appellant brief. So I came to give him a copy for him to go through. Remember that we just do it and give it to him because he's representing himself. So the appellant brief will be filed on Tuesday. When we file the appellant brief, we will now give South federal government. Federal government will now file their own respondent brief. Then we will now file our own reply to the respondent brief. And if federal government, they also file a cross appeal. They also file their own cross appellant brief. We will also respond. When we exchange all these briefs, then we now apply for a date. They will now give us a date. The day the matter will be coming up, Martin Nandekano will leave Sokoto here to come and argue his appeal because it is his constitutional right to represent himself, and he has been representing himself. So that, just to keep you updated for those of you who have been calling to get updates. So that is the update. So the appellant brief now is ready, and we are good to go. So you can see Sokoto is a very beautiful place to stay. So I want to say, as we progress, I will continue to keep you posted. Thank you and God bless you. Well done.
The Fulani militant uprising in Nigeria might trigger a counterattack from other ethnic groups. That is my worry, and we must check it, because if we don't, we might pay dearly for it. So let me remind you of the consequences of counter-violence, because Nigeria is edging closer to counter-violence. If counter-violence is not the cure, then Nigeria faces a question more agonizing than any other. How does our people stop the violence that begets counter-violence without becoming the very engine of its own destruction? Look now at Nigeria. Criminal elements, armed, mobile, shadowy, move through the forest and farmlands. They call themselves many things, but Nigeria knows them by the name of an ethnic group, the Fulani. They kill, they kidnap, they burn villages. And in response, ethnic militias are rising. In Yoruba land at the moment, Sunday Igboho is raising Yoruba militias. You can see videos of them moving into the forest. That is how it starts. Why are they angry? Terrorists stormed schools in Orire, in Oyo State, kidnapped teachers, kids, babies. The Berom fortified their hills. The Yoruba vigilantes gather, and each side says the same terrible justification. We are only defending ourselves. They struck first. Let me remind you of July 1966 all over again. Only now, the uniform is not army uniform, but civilian marauders, and the admonition remains unchanged. The nation that cannot distinguish between the criminal and the king is already lost. When a Fulani bandit kills a thief farmer, the thief farmer's son does not see a criminal. He sees a Fulani. When the thief militia retaliates, burning a Fulani settlement, where no bandits live, the Fulani header's daughter does not see vigilantes. She sees thieves, and in that moment, the actual crime, the original act of banditry, becomes irrelevant. What matters now is identity. What matters now is blood. What matters now is revenge that no one can stop. So, how does a nation break this circle without disarming the innocent? How does it stop the violence that leads to counter-violence? First, the state must reclaim its monopoly on legitimate force. This is not merely a political slogan. It is the very definition of a state. When citizens take up arms because they no longer trust the government to protect them, the state has already failed. But the answer is not to crush the militias with greater violence. That is merely counter-violence by another name. The answer is to outgovern the bandits. It is to deploy competent, ethnically neutral security forces whose loyalty is to the law, not to a region. It is to track criminals by their deeds, not their dialect. It is to invest in intelligence, in rapid response, in rural courts, in roadways that connect isolated communities to the center. The state must become so present, so effective, so just, that the vigilante becomes unnecessary, not because he is suppressed, but because he is obsolete. Second, the Nigerian state must criminalize the act, not the identity. This sounds simple, but it is revolutionary in its implications. When a Fulani herdsman commits murder, he must be hunted, arrested, and tried, not because he is Fulani, but because he is a murderer. When a thief militiaman burns a Fulani home, he must face the same justice. But this requires a judiciary and a police force that have been cleansed of ethnic bias, and that, in turn, requires political courage of a kind that is rare in any nation. It means telling your own ethnic constituency, if our people commit crimes, they will be punished. And it means telling your enemy's constituency, if your people are innocent, they will be protected. This is the only language that breaks the circle. Everything else is just war by other means. Third, and most difficult, the Nigerian state must address the ecological and economic roots of the violence. The Fulani bandits are monsters, no doubt, but they are also men whose traditional grazing routes have been blocked by farms, whose cattle have been stolen by climate change, whose youths have been radicalized by poverty and neglect. This does not excuse their crimes. Nothing excuses kidnapping and murder. But to fight only the symptom while ignoring the disease is to guarantee that new bandits will rise as fast as old ones fall. The Nigerian state must invest in ranching, provide alternative livelihoods, and build trust across the herder-farmer divide. This is slow work. It is unglamorous work. It does not make for dramatic headlines, but it is the only work that ends the circle permanently. Because if we go fire for fire, Nigeria will plunge into a deadly civil war. It is coming if we don't manage it. Fourth, Nigeria must refuse the seduction of collective guilt. This is the hardest lesson of July 1966. Remember, after the first coup, Northerners blamed all Igbo. After the counter-coup, Igbo blamed all Northerners, and 1 million died in a war that ensued. So today, when a Fulani bandit kills, the temptation is to say the Fulani are killers. When a thief militia retaliates, the temptation is to say that the thieves are savages. But these are not truths. They are suicide notes written in the grammar of ethnicity. A nation that succumbs to collective guilt has already chosen civil war, and it is merely waiting for the march. The only alternative is to insist relentlessly, publicly, even against the tide of grief and rage, that a criminal is a criminal, and a civilian is a civilian, and no one is guilty for the sins of their ethnic sibling. Fellow countrymen and women, the Nigerian state must learn to distinguish between defense and vengeance. Defense is the militia that stands at the edge of a village and repels an imminent attack. Vengeance is the militia that crosses into the next valley and burns a sleeping hamlet. One is the right of every human being. The other is the path to July 1966 and to every massacre that followed. The state must defend the first while prosecuting the second. And communities must learn to demand protection without demanding blood. Note, you cannot stop the circle of violence by choosing a side within it. You can only stop it by stepping outside of it, by refusing to let the criminal define your enemy, by insisting that justice is blind to ethnicity, and by building a state so strong in its fairness that no citizen feels the need to become a vigilante. This is harder than revenge. It is slower than rage. It requires patience, trust, and a kind of moral courage that is rare in any generation. But the alternative is not victory. The alternative is an endless July month after month, year after year, each counter-violence birthing the next, until Nigeria becomes not a nation, but a graveyard of good intentions. And the only epitaph reads, "They struck first, so we struck back, and then we all died." Break the chain, not with a bigger gun, but with a better nation. A word is enough for the wise.